That's President Trump on Monday. For more on this, let's keep the conversation going. Head over to retired Lieutenant Colonel Hal Kemper. Kempfer, forgive me. He was an intelligence officer with the U.S. Marine Corps. He's now the CEO and also founder of Global Risk Intelligence and Planning, and also the host of the START podcast. Lieutenant Colonel, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Polo.
So the president needs a Hormuz coalition, as he calls it, to secure that critical route. How does he do that? How can he put one together?
Well, Polo, it's going to take a lot of diplomacy. You know, there is some hard feelings, I would say, within NATO right now. There's some real strong feelings about the decision to lift the moratorium, lift the sanctions off of Russian oil, which is basically a $10 billion windfall to Russia that they're going to get from that. The Europeans certainly were more than a little put out. President Zelensky in Ukraine was very put out by that. So it's going to take a while. One of the shortfalls we have in U.S. forces is we don't have a lot of minesweepers. One of the things that our NATO allies in Europe have is more minesweepers. So that's why specifically the president mentioned minesweepers. That's something we really need for those NATO countries in order to clear the Strait of Hormuz.
That's interesting. Essentially, the largest or the most powerful navies in the world, certainly having to turn to its European allies for those capabilities. That's fascinating. And then you have the president's call, the one that we just discussed, for assistance, and it seems to be falling on deaf ears when it comes to European allies. So now, as you know, Lieutenant Colonel, he's turning to China. In your expert view, is there any chance that U.S. forces would participate in a coalition with China?
When that first came up, and it came up a few days ago, I saw China on the list. So I just shook my head. I go, China? Well, one of the things is that China is in a very, very difficult position. They are very dependent. They get about 90% of the oil from Iran. And even though some Chinese ships, or some ships, I should say, destined for China with oil are getting through, courtesy of Iran, not a lot, and not enough to keep the oil prices down. And one thing that the Chinese are looking at is they're going to lose access to very discounted sanctioned Iranian oil. That's going to change their price of goods sold for everything they do. So they're looking for some way to come out of this a little bit further ahead, because right now they're going to come out well behind.
There was something else that stood out also from Monday's remarks from the president to Lieutenant Colonel, which was when he said that nobody expected Iran to strike surrounding countries, surrounding Gulf nations. Do you accept that? I mean, wouldn't that have been part of certainly the planning process for the White House in conjunction with the Pentagon and even working with its intelligence counterparts overseas?
It may have been discounted in the White House. They may have said, well, you know, the number of these countries, which I will tell you, the countries in certainly the Gulf Cooperation Council, but elsewhere in the Middle East, were very put out by Iran's response. They went and attacked them. And these are countries like Qatar and the UAE that they have tried to maintain some level of cordial relations with Iran for years and years. And of course, they get the full brunt of the Iranian ballistic missile and drone assaults across the board. And they weren't going for just U.S. bases. They were going for their critical infrastructure, their iconic places. So this has turned the whole Middle East against Iran. But I would not say that we weren't expecting that. I mean, I'm not a planning savant, but let's just say I've done a lot of planning in the military, and I've been focused on Iran since the mid-'80s. And I can tell you that everyone fully expected at some point that they would probably turn, just like shutting down the Strait of Hormuz, that they would probably turn and attack our allies in the Persian Gulf.
Lieutenant Colonel Hal Kempfer, thank you so much for that breakdown and all that analysis. Really appreciate your time.
Thank you, Polo.